All right, so welcome everyone. Welcome to the MindShift Sunday webinar review. I know I haven't done these in a while. It's probably been over a year and a half, maybe 2 years, a couple years since I've done these. But I know that there's also a lot of you that have followed me for a while. So for those of you that are here that are that have been with me for a while, let me know in the chat. Maybe just like put like a 1 or a yes in the chat or something like that. If you guys are new and this is like your first experience with me, put like a 2 and just let me know kind of where you're at in terms of your exposure to MindShift. About 2 years, okay. Yeah, 1 if you're a veteran, 2 if you're a newbie. 3, okay, I don't know what 3 is, but all right. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to go through and we're going to go through these pairs. These are the pairs that we cover in our group. So we cover basically these 4: Euro, GBP, and gold, and then NASDAQ. And then we have the dollar to kind of confirm our bias. So what I'll do is I'll just go down through each pair and I'll do like a top-down analysis, and then we'll just kind of cover, what the expectations are, what I think the expectations are for the coming week. And maybe we'll go over some, potential setups or some setups that might be, happening next week. We have, I think, some big news coming up next week, which is like FOMC. But I have to make sure, double check on my calendar here. But okay, so we'll just go through these one by one. All right. If you guys have any questions, you guys can save them for the end, or you can put them in the chat. I will eventually get to them because I'll be looking at the screen, so I may I may not see your question until afterwards. But yeah, make sure if you want to put a question in the chat, I'll get to them eventually at the end. Right, FOMC news, yeah, next week, right? Yeah, so we got FOMC next week, and we just had NFP at the start of the month, so some volatility coming out, and then we have the summer months, which normally is it's not too great, but anyways, we'll take a look. Okay, so first things is that we always look at the dollar index, okay? And so from the long-term perspective of the dollar, it's been going down, right? You obviously can see that we're in a bearish downtrend. So what we like to do is basically just determine our most recent range, okay? And we do that every time frame. And so we can see, on this daily chart, okay, we're basically inside. Everyone can agree that we're inside of this current range right now, right? So this high to this low. Okay, and we're inside of this range, and we're currently, it's moving, but it's kind of in a sideways consolidation. But we were coming off of a very large kind of a downtrend move, right? So it looks like it may be turning around at this point here, at least coming back up into the top of this range. So our daily range, from this high to this low, right? This is where we're currently trading inside of. Right now we have a big kind of move up recently, but we've made this swing high here, so we have a little pause. Okay, and we're kind of retracing back into the range. Now if we look back and we take a look at our most recent breaks of structure, we can see that this downtrend, right, potentially could be ending. Okay, so I'm going to mark this as a break of structure here. BMS. Okay, and when we have a break of structure and we start to pull back, this is the downtrend, right? We have this kind of lower low, lower high thing happening here, and we have this break of structure above. So potentially here, we could have seen price, or we are seeing price turn around, because if you look at the structure here, the break of the high signifies that, price is kind of moving up, but then we came back to the bottom, to the low here, and we didn't break it, right? You can see we never broke that structure, and we started to turn around. So there's a possibility here of a reversal, at least on the daily time frame. But because it's the daily time frame, obviously, it's going to take a while for this to actually, turn around and go back, up to here, if it's actually in reverse, right? But we can see that it's, the beginning stages of it are the W here at the bottom of the range, right? You could see price coming for this high. At the very least, we can see that price is moving in this now potentially upward pattern, right? So we have a break above, we have a higher low, and now potentially we could be moving to a higher high, right? And I know that we're retracing here, but we could be doing something like this, right? Or something similar. So potentially here we could see price moving higher, but as of right now, we're in a retracement. So we've made a swing high here, okay, and we're starting to come back into this range. So we know that price moves in waves, right? It makes lower lows, lower highs in a downtrend, and it makes higher highs, higher lows in an uptrend. So this right now here is potentially the next higher low to the next higher high. So if it's going to continue higher, it could do something like this I just mentioned, right? So it's speculation. I don't, we don't really know if that's going to happen, but that's potentially what could be happening. So as we can see here, we have a swing high. It's coming back down. Okay, and so we want to see if it's going to, or how far it's going to come down here. But when we have a swing high, when we go down to a lower time frame, say the 4-hour, we're going to do the exact same thing. All right, so we're going to look for our potential range, right? Our most recent range and our most recent break of structure. So, we can say like here, right? You can see this is where price starts to make the uptrend. So break of structure here. I see people are slowly coming into the room. So if I'm slow at letting you guys in, pardon me, because not in my field of vision. All right, here we go. Okay, so we have 4-hour break of structure, right? And you can see that now we're on a 4-hour time frame, we're in an uptrend, right? And then this is where we make the swing high. And then here's where we see price break down. Now, when price breaks down, right, and starts to come back into the range, we have a change of character that happens, right, and an internal break of structure. Change of character, there it is. Okay, and this tells us that price is going to start turning back around and move back into the range. So you can see here, after we get this change of character, then price stops making higher highs, right? It doesn't continue up anymore, and then it starts to change now and go back and back down, which means it makes lower lows and lower highs, right? So the path goes like this. Okay, so potentially what are we looking for next is probably we're going to see a lower high formed here. Okay, and then we're going to see this continue down like this, right? Or that's the idea anyway. Okay, Ian says, hello, I can't hear you, but I can see you are presenting. So is the audio okay? Everyone else can hear me okay? Or is it just Ian? Okay, audio is good. All right, so Ian, it might be your sound. I don't know if you can hear me saying this, but okay, audio is good. All right. Okay, so 4-hour, we've got this swing high, we're coming back down, okay, and we're still going to look for price to continue down. So this swing low here, right? You can see it's lower than this one, right? So we're making the lower low, lower high pattern, and we're going to be looking for a lower high over here. So what that means is that price is potentially going to, travel upwards first to this point here to make the lower high, and then continue down. Okay, so real simple. Like, I'm not going to overcomplicate this today here, but this is what we're looking for, right? This movement here. Okay, so if that's the case on the 4-hour, now we go down to our 15-minute, right? We're just going to look at an intraday kind of time frame and see potentially what that means for the opening of the week, right? So when we start the week and we start off on Monday, we can look for, so we can take, again, our range. Okay, so our most recent high and low. This is a break of structure here, our most recent break of structure. And so we can see clearly on the 15-minute as well that we're in a downtrend, okay, which confirms that we're still moving down. Okay, and we're just in a pullback here. So on the 4-hour, right, we said that we were going to look for price to potentially come up here to make the next, lower high. So we have, price making higher highs, higher lows on this time frame right here, right, potentially to get up to this lower high area here, right? Or that's the expectation. Okay, so this is what we're doing currently. Let me get this low here. I guess this is the lowest point. Okay, and so we're now moving up. So you can see here, like, this is where price stops making lower lows, okay, and then starts to turn around. So we have a 15-minute change of character here. Right, and then price continues up from this point. As soon as we see the bullish change of character and we see price moving up, stops making lower lows, right? We don't make lower lows. And so what do? We turn around, we make higher highs and higher lows. So right here, visually a little bit better, right? So what are we expecting opening for the week? Probably a false move down, some kind of manipulation or stop hunt lower. We'll have an Asia range paint, just like we did over here, right, on Friday. So Monday, there'll be an Asian range consolidation. We'll have some sort of manipulation to the downside, and then we'll move up, right? And then we'll look for this continuation up to our 4-hour, lower high point where we're expecting that lower high to form. Okay, so if we have this happening, right, and this is a dollar index, okay, so we're not trading this, we're just looking for confirmation for our other pairs, right? So when we look at EU and GU and gold, we're going to look at this, the dollar index to confirm, the movements that are happening with those pairs, right? Because obviously these are against the dollar, right? Euro dollar, right? GBP dollar, gold dollar. So when the dollar is moving, the way the dollar moves, right, is going to affect obviously these pairs as well. So we want to make sure that it's correlating correctly. It's all congruent, right? So as this, the expectation is going to be that price is going to, and for the short term, bullishly, right, move up to create that next lower high and then to continue lower. Okay, so if we have that on the dollar, let's go over to euro dollar and we'll take a look at, and then we'll contrast, right? So we'll see if this is actually the case. So taking a look at the dollar range, we're going to do the same thing for euro dollar. We're going to look at our most recent range so everyone can agree we are inside of this range, right? And this was our most recent break of structure over here. Okay, so we were in an uptrend, right? We were going up, and then right here, we broke the structure and going higher, and now we're on this retracement back, inside the range. So if this follows, right, if structure follows and we continue to go higher, then we should see price, go like this, right? And that's that's what should happen. So this retracement here, okay, we're coming back down to make the next higher low, okay, and it looks like we have a formation here ready. I'm not going to call it too early, but it looks like we have a swing low in place. Okay, we've got a little kind of W formation here, right? And potentially this could be the next higher low. So if this continues up, right, what would we expect price to do? Price is going to move from, higher highs to higher lows. So this should theoretically move up to here, right? Or at least make its way towards this high. So that means that we're expecting it to continue higher. And if we go to the 4-hour, let's see if we can confirm that as well. So what we want to see on the 4-hour is the confirmation that price has actually made the swing low here and has started to move its way up, right? And so we look for the change of character to happen, right? Which happens right here. Okay, and at this moment here, you can see that price stops making lower lows and lower highs, and then we break above, right? So we stop, this is the last low, it breaks above, it breaks the lower high here, and we make it this this new high. So we get a change of character up, and then on the retracement, on the pullback, you can see it does not break this low. So makes the higher low, and then we make the higher high, right? And that's the break of structure right there. So now we've got a 4-hour uptrend, okay, here on euro dollar. Okay, and so this pullback, okay, or this swing high right here should, if we're going up, right, make a next higher low over here. So the expectation is going to be for price to what? Move down, right, initially, and then make the next higher low, and then continue higher, right? So the path should look like this. Right, and then continue up, whatever it does. So how we use the dollar to confirm the movements on euro dollar, right? If we're trading euro dollar, so if you remember, we go back to the dollar and then we go back to the 4-hour, right? What were we expecting the dollar to do? We were expecting the dollar to move up, right, to create the next lower high. And so the euro dollar is going to mirror that, right? It's going to be the opposite of what we see in the dollar happening. So you can see that there's congruence, right? We're actually expecting price to move lower, right, to down here to make the next higher low to then continue up. So it checks out, right? When it doesn't check out, that's what we call fractional disparity, or there's going to be a correlation divergence. And sometimes when that happens, you can actually look for potential manipulation, and then there could be a setup that occurs because of that. I won't get into that in detail, but that's just something that you can keep in mind. So that's why we use the dollar to confirm that the pairs like EU and GU or gold are moving congruently in the direction that they should be, so that we know that we can confirm the bias, right, and the direction. So on the 4-hour, we should see price continue lower here for EU. So let's go down to the 15-minute and let's see for potentially weak open, what should we expect price to do? So you can see here this is the high, okay, and then this is where price starts to turn around, right? This is a swing high, and it starts to move back down. So we've got, let's see, can say this is our 15-minute range, okay, and now we're expecting price to go higher, but we're going to be looking for a higher low, right, somewhere in here. So potentially we can see that price is now, it's moving lower, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low. So we should see something like a lower high over here, right? Something like this, and then turning around. Okay, so that's the idea anyway. So at the market open, right, we can look for potentially there's going to be an Asia consolidation, right, on Monday. There'll be a manipulation higher, right, some sort of stop on high, and then there'll be a drop, right? So this is going to, the stop hunt is going to be above the Asia range, but it's going to be lower than this high, right? And if we follow the pattern here, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? Very simple stuff. Okay, so when we get down to here, this is where we're potentially looking for the next higher low to form. So that's where, we can potentially look for. So we could be looking for a potential short opportunity, okay, down to this level, down into here, okay, like in the 107 big figure area, right? 107 big figure, anywhere in this kind of blue region. All right, now this region here is going to be where we expect the higher low to form. So if you're taking the short, that's going to be where you expect to, get out of the trade, right? And then look for the turnaround. You're going to look for confirmation, first, obviously, and then you can look for potential buy setups. But if you don't see a strong confirmation that price is turning around, you could potentially just, keep going short, right? Follow the order flow and follow the structure, right, as it goes. Okay, so let's take a look at GU next. And GU is going to move very similarly to EU, all right? So we should see very similar structure and very similar setups occur between these two, which is why we like to use, both of these or trade both of these or look at them so that we can, also not only confirm correlation, but confirm bias, right? And then sometimes when you get one setup here, right, similar setup happens in GU. So we have like kind of a 2-for-1. Okay, now I also want you guys to keep in mind that next week is FOMC, right? So FOMC happens on a Wednesday, which means that if you're going to be looking for these setups that I'm showing you or that I'm potentially, kind of outlining for you guys next week, you want to get them in obviously before Wednesday, right? Before Wednesday New York session, because you don't want to be trading through, that FOMC news. And luckily FOMC is going to be like late in the afternoon. So it's not going to be something that, is going to, you shouldn't be, trading that late in the day anyway, but you should be able to get set up in, like Monday, Tuesday before, or even Wednesday, like, London before that news hits, right? So, all right, let's take a look at GU on the daily. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing. Okay, we're gonna mark our range. We're gonna look for our most recent range, and we're gonna try to identify, our bias, right? So you can see our most recent break of structure was here, our swing low, and so we broke the structure, and we're going higher. Okay, we've got a swing high here, and price is pulling back. Okay, and this is going higher, right? When it's bullish, so we can see it's making higher highs, higher low. We broke above, right? And now we're pulling back. Now the pullback, okay, we don't actually know how far it's going to pull back, right? Sometimes it makes a shallow pullback like this, and sometimes it goes really deep into the range and comes down into here. Okay, but you can see, like for right now, as it is, we have a higher low that's formed, a swing low, and we have a change of character that happened. So this right now, to me, is going to be the higher low, okay? Because I'm just going off of our immediate structure, and I can see that, right now this is potentially already our swing low because we've got the change of character, and we can already see the internal structure has turned bullish, right, or back bullish from this retracement. So if we go down to the 4-hour chart, right, we should see that, we should see bullish structure, and we should see price moving higher, right? And so how do we confirm that? Well, we can see that we have a, let's just mark this because it's basically the same, but we have a 4-hour change of character here. Okay, and that's because we could see initially we had bearish structure, right? And price was making lower lows and lower highs. And then at this point right here where price breaks higher, right, it stops making lower lows, right? So we could even see, we could even say that this is where it happens, right? This is the last lower high that gets broken up. So this is a change of character, the bullish one, right? So at the moment we see this lower high makes this lower low and it breaks to the upside here, right? That no longer is a bearish downtrend, right? We can see the price has turned around. The direction switches from bearish to bullish, and that is confirmed because you can see that the lows never get broken after it breaks this point, right? And then it continues higher. So then the path changes from lower lows to lower highs to then making higher highs and higher lows like this. right? And then we continue higher. So right now it's still moving higher, and we're not, we don't have a swing high per se yet. So we'll have to see what happens at the open of the week, right? This could still continue to go higher. But since we've broken this high here, right, potentially what we're looking for is for price to make a swing high and pull back and then make a higher low here, right? And then continue higher. And eventually, right, if we're bullish, breaking this structure over here, the high over here. So that is what it looks like on the 4-hour, right? Or potentially could be on the 4-hour. So what are we looking for? We're looking for a swing high and then a pullback, right? A lower high, or sorry, a higher low, and then a continuation, right? So if we contrast that with over what we have over here for euro, okay, euro is already pulling back, okay, and we saw the dollar also already pulling back to the upside, right? So GU here is just showing a little bit more strength in terms of strength, because we don't see price actually making a swing high yet. Actually, it did over here, but you can see it went, it didn't pull back at all. It was kind of a shallow pullback and it just kept going. So potentially we could still see GU pulling higher, but as soon as it turns around, right? Because usually once we see like an indication euro doing it, and then GU might lag behind a little bit, but eventually it does it. So when it makes that swing high, what you're going to expect price to do is to pull back into this range, right? And make a lower high or higher low somewhere in this range. Okay, so what we'll look for on the 15-minute to confirm that, okay, is we're going to look for a 15-minute change of character, okay? Because right now what we see is that we're bullish, right? And the last swing high, range, and low, okay? So you can see break of structure here, right? So this high gets broken. Okay, so we have a break of structure. We have a continuation, then we have a pullback, right? And then we have another break of structure. So this right here, so it's bullish, right? And we don't have a definitive, high or swing high yet that's pulling back. You can see it's just going to keep continuing. Or it looks like it's just going to keep continuing, right? So it's not yet ready, I guess, to pull back. It might not even, because of how bullish it is. But if it does, what we'll see is a change of character. So what'll happen is we'll see a low, right, get broken to the downside. It'll stop making higher highs and higher lows. It'll see a break of structure to the downside. So, in this, it could be like this low here, right? As it is right now. And this might change when market opens, of course, right? But this is just what we have right now. Okay, so either this gets broken, right, or there'll be another structure that forms, and then that low will get broken. But you'll see that the pattern will change, right? We'll see a change of character. We'll see price stop making higher highs and higher lows, and then we'll see it break lower, right? And then that'll be our swing high. So once that happens, then you can look for continuation. So you can look for a potential short, right? You can look for a potential short opportunity to go back into the range. But before we get that happen, right? Before that happens, the change of character, you will still be, expecting price to continue higher, right? So I wouldn't be looking for shorts until that happens, right? So it might be a little bit of, a disconnect between EU and GU there, right? So they're not really correlating the same. GU just showing a little bit more strength, and so, potentially just could keep going higher as we start the week, right? Normally though, at the beginning of the week is where we have, the fake outs, right? The fake moves and the manipulation. So it could be a false move higher that later in the week or the midweek, right, gives us the reversal and comes back into the range after, like, a big event, say FOMC, that could happen on Wednesday, right? So just keep that in mind. Okay, so those are the two, EU and GU. Now let's go over to gold. Now we also, like we have these pairs that we look at, but then we look at things like, commodities, and then we also look at indices, right, with NASDAQ. So just some diversity. So I wouldn't recommend trading, all of them at once, but just if it's you like commodities more, you trade gold. You like indices more, you trade, like NASDAQ, or you trade S&P, or you trade, what else is there? Like the US 500, right? And that could be like what you trade. Or if you want to stick to Forex, then stick to like, the major pairs like EU, GU, AU, whatever you choose, right? But the way you look at these and the way you analyze them is all the same. So as you can see, right, I'm going to do the same thing here with gold. So on the daily chart, right, we're going to analyze our range. So where's our most recent break of structure? We've got this right here. We've got the low, and we've got this high. Okay, so we've got break of structure. Right, and it's in an uptrend, right? Just like EU and G were in an uptrend, but we're pulling back, right? And we know that we're pulling back because we can see that price has given us a change of character, and we've made now a lower low. Daily change of character to the downside. All right, you have a lower low now. Okay, so price was making higher highs, higher lows, but now we've broken this low, right? And so now potentially we could be looking at this being a swing low, trading up to make a swing low, a lower high, and then continuing down fashion, right? To make the next higher low to then continue in the uptrend. Okay, so this is the bias is going to be, well, the bias right now is it's in a consolidation, right? So we could still continue down, right? Because we haven't really seen a change of character back up yet. So let's go to the 4 hour. We can get a little bit more clarity on the smaller ranges that way. Okay, so on the 4 hour, right, as you can see, we have price making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and then right here, we get a change of character, right? So this is where price shifts from making lower lows to then now making higher highs, higher lows, right? So now the path changes, higher low, right? This is a lower high, but it's kind of like in the middle. So this is, we're in the middle of like this range right here. And so this is still the lowest low. We haven't broken that low, and this is the high, right? So we're basically consolidating inside of this range. So until this gets broken to the downside, right, then this potentially on this time frame on the 4 hour, right, we're in a bullish uptrend, or we're like reversing back in this bullish uptrend, okay, because we haven't broken this low. So, and we haven't broken the high, right, and so that's still the target. If we're bullish and we're looking for price to make a higher high, this is our higher high target. Okay, so this should be the draw on your setup if you're looking for bullish moves. Right now, this move right now, okay, we can see it's making higher lows, right? It's not pushing lower. So the retracement, even though this is such a big move down, okay, it's a very strong move down, but immediately after that, we can see price moved right back up, right? So we've got a fast down, fast up, like a V spike, right? And then it's continuing higher. So when price moves this quickly to the downside and doesn't break structure, usually that's more so inducement or manipulation, right? It's inducing sellers to go short, and because it's not able to break the lows here, right, then they get trapped, okay, and now they're held here, right? And I don't know if obviously if you got like stops up here, then you're stopped out, but this is manipulation. When we get this kind of movement this quickly and then the movement like directly back up, right? That's usually a sign of manipulation. So this right now is moving higher. And so if we go into, so we just said that the target should be this high. Our 4 hour target should be that high right there, right? And so we're moving towards this high. So what could we see potentially here, right? Because it's moving sideways. So, it could do whatever it wants in here, but, you potentially want to be looking for, you always want to be looking for a specific range, right? To be trading inside. So you don't take, I guess, bad trades at bad times. So let me kind of explain what I mean by that. So right here, we can see on the 15-minute, if we are to look at our most recent range and break of structure, we can say that we're inside of this range currently. Okay, now we don't have a break. I don't think we have a, yeah, so what I constitute as a break of structure would be a candle body, right? These wicks above, that doesn't really confirm a break for me. That to me just more so is like stop hunting or manipulation. So I need to see a candle body break, and that's specific to this time frame, right? So the time frame that we're looking at right now, the 15-minute, if I don't see a candle body break above this high, then it's not really a break of structure. So we're still technically inside of this range. All right. So all of this here, could just be, manipulation or inducement or, just getting buyers up in this region stuck, right? And it could be pulling back. Now, why would it be pulling back? Because we know that price doesn't just move up in a straight line, right? When it moves up and it breaks something, it'll come back and it'll pull back and then it'll make a higher low and then it'll come back up. So that could be what we're seeing right now. And as you can see here, right, this current intraday 15-minute structure is in fact making lower lows and lower highs, right? So we could see price maybe moving back towards this range, right, into this lower high or the higher low region here, because we want to see price making a higher low before making our next higher high. So if it comes back into that range, right, or I mean, it's doing that right now, right? So at the start of the week, right? So what could we expect at the start of the week? We could see potentially an Asia range consolidation, okay, and then manipulation, which is a stop on high, and then we get a drop, right? And then we get the move down into this region here where we actually would like to see a higher low, right? And that's that's the idea anyway. Don't know if that's going to happen, but that's at least what you could be expecting price to do. So when we open the week, right, what we want to look for is you could be looking for potentially a short opportunity into this consolidation here, and this will be where we expect to make the higher low to then go higher, right? So if that happens, then we have, the continuation and we have the price, moving higher as we expect it to. Okay. All right. So let's see if we have the same similar thing on NASDAQ, and then we can wrap this up here. So, all right, daily chart, we're going to look for the same logic. Okay. So where's our break of structure? Where's our range? Daily. Okay. And we've got, an uptrend, obviously, right? And price is very strong and it's moving higher. Okay, potentially we could be looking for, a run above this high or taking out the structure over here, but, obviously we're still moving higher. And this is, it's been pretty strong all week, last week, and it's still, continuing that momentum. So we've got a swing high, right? And so it is potentially pulling back here, right? And we did break structure, so we do expect to pull back after break of structure. But as it's pulling back here, we don't have a a lower low yet. We don't have a change of character. We don't have a lower low, so we could be just from here we could see price potentially still just go higher. So we can confirm that here on the 4-hour, right? Because we can see on the 4-hour we also have bullish structure, and it's not hasn't turned around yet, right? So we've got here, we've got break of structure. Oops. All right. Break of structure, higher low, higher high. Okay, so very obvious uptrend, right? And this is next higher low. So this higher low here could be looking to break that high, and that's potentially where we're looking at right now. That's how we ended the week, right? And that's what we're looking for last week anyway. So this is your target. Okay, this high up here, this is at, looks like 14,685, 14,700. Let's say we want to make a big number out of it. Okay, and we have, potentially it's almost there, but look at the 15-minute here and see. Right, so there's our break. Okay, and now this right there, you can see that this did not break with a candle, only with a wick. So it's just a little sweep of liquidity, right? A little stop hunt grab of those highs, and then price came back. Why does it come back? Because it has to pull back, right? Price doesn't go in a straight line. It always comes back and it moves in waves. So it makes a higher high, then a higher low, and then it continues to the upside. So this is where we should see price continue higher. So this should go into, once again, we have an Asia consolidation, right? And we get a stop on low, and then we get the rise and then the move up. Okay, so that's potentially, start of the week, right? As we go into the middle of the week in FOMC, then, things might be different. But that's generally what we can look for that there. Okay, all right. Question, Jeff, are we going to have a view on the BTMM charts as well? Okay, so the way we trade, right, is we use smart money, concepts, but we don't use like, right now the BTMM way the way we trade with the BTMM with like indicators and like levels, that's not, as far as how we do analysis, that's not the way I trade anymore. And I mainly just go off of structure, because if you think about it, levels is really just structure, right? If you're looking at levels and trying to understand levels, um, it's just understanding structure. Like if you look at, level 1, level 2, level 3, that's an uptrend, right? But how many times have you gone to level 3, expected reversal, and it keeps going, right? It goes on to level 4 and 5 and 6, right? So understanding, structure, market structure at its foundation, at its core, you're going to have a lot more clarity, when you're trying to mark levels, right? Because it won't just be levels. You'll know when it's not going to be, a turnaround, where it's not actually just going to be a level 3 and a reversal, but a level 3 and a continuation, or level 3 and a pause, and then a continuation, or level 3 and a pause and then a reversal, right? Because structure will tell you everything. It'll tell you exactly where price is going to go, or it should tell you, with a certain degree of confirmation that, price is going higher or lower. And I just showed you that here, today with, what I've just showed you with, how price moves within the different time frames, and how you can confirm that, right? As long as you understand your range, right? And where price should go in that range to fulfill, that structure, that pattern. So if price is moving higher, okay, and we're moving like this, right? We're in a bullish uptrend, but that price doesn't move just in a straight line. So in each iteration where we make a swing high or a swing low, we know that price is going to do this, right? It's going to move in a wave. So this is going to tell you, like, where am I in this range? Am I here or am I here? If I'm here, then I should be looking for shorts to come back down to here, right? To then move higher. If I'm somewhere down here in this range, then I should be looking for buys to then move up and make the next higher high, right? And that's in an uptrend. Okay, if you simplify it like that, it makes it a lot like clearer, rather than just looking at, level 1, level 2, and then, being confused as, okay, well, I should be level 3, right? I should be looking for a reversal. But the thing that happens with, counting levels and, and expecting things to turn around, is when they don't, right? When they don't turn around, when you're expecting it to turn around, and you're sitting there scratching your head thinking, well, this is level 3, right? Shouldn't we be reversing, or shouldn't it be, moving back? So are you also looking on monthly and weekly? Yes, but not all the time. Most of the time, because we're intraday traders, the daily is enough. The daily is enough to give you a bias, and in most cases, the 4 hour is enough as well. So the daily and 4 hour are going to be your, your longer, higher time frame biases. And then if we're day trading, we're trading on the 15, 5, and 1 minute charts, right? If you're swing trading, then yeah, you might want to look at monthly and weekly for longer term targets, or more, farther ahead. But for the most part, because we're intraday, the daily is enough. All right. So how many of you guys, are trading purely BTMM, like just BTMM and nothing else. You can put a 1 or yes or something like that. Nobody? Really? Okay. How many of you guys are using BTMM with a in conjunction with some other method, with smart money or with supply and demand or Elliott waves or whatever? Okay. Yeah. So for the most part, you guys are on the same way, right? BTM and ICT. So yeah, that's what we do here, right? We take BTMM because I was a pure BTMM trader, 5 years ago. About 2-3 years ago, we switched into a hybrid method, right, with using incorporating SMC. But we take the best of both, right? We don't just use one or the other, because it's not just one or the other that's always going to give you the answer, right? Because sometimes just BTMM on its own has its merits, but there's a lot of gaps in BTMM that SMC fills, and it's vice versa. SMC also they complement each other, right? And so that's why we trade the way we do. So when we look at things like order flow and order blocks and imbalances and things like that, and other that those are just points of interest that we look up for our entries, right? And how we confirm that price is moving in the direction that we're expecting it to move. Okay, so yeah, I mean, if you guys are still trading, with like indicators, okay, we stopped doing that a long time ago, but I understand that there's everything is a confluence, right? So whatever you use, it's not to say that it's wrong, right? I'm not saying that my way is the correct way, and your way is the correct way or whatever, but whatever you use, right, as long as it gives you a better idea of how to trade, your own personal style, and it gives you confirmations, then use that. If you're comfortable using it, there's nothing wrong with it. But there's certain things that I feel like, with indicators, because they're lagging, they're not always going to give you accurate information. There's obviously some things that, when things line up perfectly, that the indicators are going to help you. But for the most part, if you just look at, structure and how price moves right inside these ranges, and then you look at the clues, right? What are the things that tells you that there's institutional involvement behind the move? And then you'll know where to look for price to come back to enter your trade setups, right? And that for those of you guys, obviously you guys are all um, SMC traders, so you guys understand that. Right. So that's, in essence, how we look at things. This is kind of like just a broad kind of like eagle eye view of how we do our analysis. And, this will give you, I guess, an idea of how to like prepare your week. Right. And that's what these Sunday reviews are for us. So how should the week start? Like, how did we end the week last week? What's our range this week that we're going into? Where should we look for price to go? You should always have some sort of idea of where you think price will go, or like a plan, right? Before you trade, you need to have a plan. You need to have some sort of idea of what you're going to do when price gets to a certain point. If you're just waiting for price to do something without a plan, right, that's not a plan. And most likely you're going to either second guess yourself, you're going to flip flop, or you're going to get faked out, right, by some sort of false move. So if you know what to look for and you're prepared for it, right, then how to approach a setup when it comes, or when your criteria is met, right? And that's basically that's how I teach everyone to look for their setups, right? Is to make sure that you have a clear idea of what you're looking for price to do. You have a clear bias, right? And then you know exactly what you're looking for price to go to enter, right? Your entry criteria. All right. So are there any questions for me? I know that's like I said, I haven't done these in a long time, so the things I go over here are going to be very broad brush, but I plan to do these more often. And also I obviously the YouTube channel is up, but we don't have the newer stuff out there, right? It's all BTMM stuff right there. That's on the channel right now, but I will be uploading newer content in there. So if you guys aren't subscribed to that, make sure you do. I think we got some more people jumping on here. Okay, how do you deal with a fake break of structure? Well, the number one thing obviously is that you have to know your bias and your range, right? So before you sit down to trade, you should have already a direction that you know that price is going to go. Now you can't always 100% not get faked out. It's going to happen sometimes, but if you know for with a pretty clear degree of certainty like your direction, then you should know when to anticipate the fake outs. So like for example, like right here, right? So this is going to this is a movement up. So if I just follow, the structure like this, okay, I can see at this point right here that this potentially could be a fake out, right? Because like you could see, right? We can see here we make a high, higher low, higher high, and then it breaks down, right? And so this could be potentially like a fake BOS. But what we identify this here is as a change of character, right? And that's because we didn't break the major structure. So do you have a way of identifying, major structure range or minor structure range, right? How you determine whether this is part of, this is all one structure, or is this the structure that you're looking to trade? Because for it's whatever time frame that you're trading, there's always going to be an external structure and there's going to be an internal structure. Sorry, I gotta mute someone over there. Do you consider order blocks or fib tool when dealing with pullbacks? Yes, we do. So the fib tool, you see me draw it, a couple times today. But when we take a range, okay, so like right here, my fib tool draws out my premium discount. So like anything above the 50% is where I'm looking for shorts, right? I'm looking for a point of interest to give me a short opportunity. And anything below the 50% is going to be my discount and my buying opportunities. So when we look for order blocks in the premium or discount, when I draw the fib tool, that's obviously it relates to whether I'm looking for a short or a buy, right? So if I'm looking for shorts, I'm looking for order blocks up here, and if I'm looking for buys, I'm looking for order blocks or imbalances, down here. Right. And so I make it's real simple. Like you don't have to do like, the 61.8, right? You don't have to do the 78 point whatever. I don't even remember the fib levels anymore, because I just do it's real simple. 50% above or below, right? And that makes it really simple because then you're focusing on the actual points of interest and not the actual fib, the fib levels, because it's not the fib levels per se, right? Sometimes it lines up to what the fib levels are, but it's not the magical fib levels. It's, where inside of that range is there going to be, potentially an area where price should return to, mitigate or give you a reaction, right? And then that's what you should be looking for. Am I focused on swing or intraday? I'm mostly intraday. I hardly ever swing, but there's occasions where, I'll have a good position on an intraday trade that I can convert into a swing trade. And that's because, there's obviously with, like say I catch like a buy down here, right? And I know that because my higher time frame bias is long and I'm looking for it to go higher, I can potentially hold it. Like normally an intraday trade, I would get out after I take out this high. But since I know it's going to go long, like farther because it's a long bias, I may convert that into a swing trade and hold it for longer. But 90% of my trades are intraday trades because I like to get in, get out. I don't, I don't hold positions and have to, worry about managing them afterwards. That's not my style. For setups, we still look for stop hunt, then M's and W's. Yeah. So it's the same idea, right? Whether you're SMC or BTMM, it's the same idea. You look for manipulation right? And then you look for a pattern, or you look for your entry trigger, or your confirmation. So for BTMM, it's, a stop on high drop or a stop on low rise, okay? And then you're going to look for, after the stop hunt, you're going to look for that W pattern or M pattern after the Asia consolidation in London or New York session, right? And for SMC, it's the exact same thing. You look for Asia consolidation. You're going to be trading in London Open or New York Open, right? Those are high volume times of day where you should be looking for your setups. And then you look for your order blocks and balances inside your discount or premium, right? And then you look for your manipulation um, to happen after that, right? You're welcome, Rain. Thank you for attending. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so I know that like I said, this is kind of a more general kind of overview, right? And for just to see what the week brings us in the week open. If you guys are interested in learning, more about how we trade and what I do and how I teach and the method and all that good stuff, I will be actually holding a live, kind of master class. Okay, a 3-day class, right? It's completely free to enroll. If you guys want information on that, you guys can go to this website. I'm going to put this in the chat for you guys. Okay, and that's the website right there. Like I said, 100% free to enroll. I'll go over the strategy. I'll break down exactly how it is we look for entries, how we look for setups, how to plan your trades, how to manage your trades, and the whole deal. I'm not going to be leaving anything out. So and it's completely free. 3-day event. It's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week. And if you guys are available, obviously it will be recorded as well for those that can't make those days every day. But it would do your be in your best interest to be there for the live sessions if you can. Right. So we're going to be going for about an hour, maybe hour and a half each day. I'll try to keep it brief, or I'll try to, I'll try to condense it as much as I can. But I'll go over in a lot more detail, how it is that we trade, how is it, what our our method is, and everything, and all that good stuff. So sign up, register, and I'll see you there. Any other questions before we sign off? Okay. Okay, what extra is provided as a VIP member? There's a video in there. If you want to go to the website, I'm assuming you're talking about the membership, right? If you go to the website and if you go to there should be like a learn more tab. There's a video in there that explains everything. Will the invite be sent out? You mean what invite? Well, I sent the website's there for you to register if you're talking about the masterclass. Yeah, go to that. Do you see the website, or do you need me to type it again? Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you got something out of it. And obviously, you guys can message me if you have any questions afterwards. I'll be sending out the replay. You guys will get an email with the replay. And like I said, I'll post this up on the YouTube channel as well. Yeah, man, definitely. Come join us. More the merrier. You're welcome, Cletus. I use Telegram, so you guys can reach me on Telegram. I'll put the link in there as well. Right there. Okay, so yeah, that's it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. The recording will be sent out shortly after, probably just in a few. It's going to take some time to compile and upload, but that'll be sent out, and then you'll get an email notification with that as well, as long as you guys registered. Okay. All right, guys. That'll do it. Let me stop the recording here.